So hang on a bit. Gotta get everything shared. Gonna share my group. Hey Tracy. Getting everything shared first. Hopefully that worked. If it didn't, I don't know what to do. So I get, if you're doing everything by yourself, you got to do all of it. You got to share. You got to remember what you're gonna say. But this will be light today. Just gonna have some fun. So wanted to say, for anybody who's never watched me before, my name is Kai. I'm an author and blogger. Hi, Maurice. I wrote a book called Date Like a Woman. You should check it out. Any women, married, single, check it out, because the married women, I keep getting reviews from married women saying it's really good for all women, whether you're single or married. There's a lot of tips in there, especially they say the section about men is really, really compelling. So just quickly, that's who I am. Today, wanted to just hang out with you guys. Sunday, hopefully everybody's chilling and relaxing, and we're just gonna talk about love. We're gonna talk about dating. We're gonna talk about relationships. We're gonna talk about femininity, because a lot has happened, I would say, in the last 2 months. If you know me personally, you know that this is not my thing to sit in front of a camera and talk to people, but I'm here, so this is what we're going to do. Today, like last couple of days, some things have happened in the last couple of days. If you follow me on my page, you may have noticed me joking around about wearing boots or clothes or something like that. There was one of those people who charge money to teach women how to find husbands, made a post the other day about women over 15 shouldn't wear Uggs and leggings. It was weird. And she had invited me to be on her YouTube that evening. When she invited me, the invite, she came to my page and she asked me to be on it. I was like, you sure you want me? Because she'd blocked me before. I thought it was weird that she would even ask, because we've already had an exchange, and she blocked me. She didn't like what I had to say. She often doesn't like what I have to say, mostly because I'm just being honest. So when she made that post about women over 15 shouldn't wear boots and leggings, I let her know that it's, adults focus on adult women, grown women. Don't focus on what other women wear. It's not my business. Like, why is this even a post? And the amount of people that jumped on who agree with her, which always happens on her page, because she, like the wife school woman, they have a following. They have a large following, which is crazy to me. But people who like to put other women down, who like to put other people down. And like I said, happy people just don't do this. Happy people don't spend time finding things to put people down for. It's something that people with low self-esteem, people who are unhappy, they're always looking outward and judging other people and saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, because they're not happy with themselves. Maybe deep down inside, they want to do whatever it is they're judging the other person for doing. So, I said that on her page. Of course, we had all sorts of quick exchange. I didn't stay around because it's not worth my time. But I wanted to talk about happiness, because out of that conversation came a lot of women that I've been interacting with. And by the way, guys, I started my own movement. It's called Happy Women. I have a Facebook group. If you are a woman and you want to join us, please come join us. You can search it. Just call Happy Women. Come hang out with us. It's all about happy women. But let me get back to the happiness. Okay. So since that conversation, and not just that one, there were other ones with the wife school, from the women who were in the wife school. I noticed the lack of happiness and the low self-esteem. And I really wanted to talk about happiness and self-esteem, especially when it comes to love and relationships and marriage. One of the things I noticed these movements completely skip over, and I said it in a video before, the key to a good relationship is happiness. And the key to happiness really is loving yourself. There are so many women who don't love themselves. You can't be in a relationship and be happy if you don't love who you are. It's sad when I see like the amount of women who struggle with self-esteem. It actually hurts my heart because, you know, if you don't love yourself, you really can't expect anybody else to love you too. So to see so many women really downing themselves, and then to see these predators with these groups and these movements prey on these people's self-esteem, it's really bothersome. So I really wanted to speak to how important it is. Self-love. Self-love. You gotta have love for yourself before you can share love with someone else. You gotta love you before someone else can come in and love you. And to see so many women just downing themselves, and to see these vultures come in and say, oh, you need to, you know, lose weight, or you need to wear a certain item, or you need to, you know, you have to be a certain way for anybody, for any man to love you, you got to be this figure over here. And let me see, Patricia, you said you had to block all the women hate and become a better version of myself and fix the things I want to fix. I can't make everything I do, say, and change about me be about a man. That's absolutely correct. You will always have better relationships, not just with a romantic partner, but with your family, with your friends, if you love yourself. This is the first step in love, is to love yourself. Because if you don't like yourself, if you look in the mirror, and this is a challenge I did in my group today with the ladies, you know, there's things that you have to, there's things that everybody has something that they're like, oh, you know, I'm not perfectly loving that particular thing about myself. But if you can't look in the mirror and look at yourself and find one thing about yourself that you love, there's a deep problem. There's work to be done. And to see as many women as I have with these femininity schools and these wife schools, you know, just downing themselves. I'm like, you're spending all this money looking for something, and what you have is right there. It's in you. But you have to find your love for yourself. You have to look in the mirror and say, I love me. Yeah, I'm awesome. And you have to have that type of self-esteem. That's the first step in love. It always is. You have to love yourself. And, you know, just seeing these not even just young women, but women just downing themselves and joining these movements and paying this money is heartbreaking. So if you're one of those women and you were in the movements or following some of these movements, you know, you have to love yourself first. If you get in these movements and you don't feel love for you, something's wrong. Something's really, really wrong. And then the question, you know, it's not even just loving yourself. It's also, what is the relationship that you have with yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Do you treat yourself gently, or are you always critical in your head? Oh, I don't like this about me. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Do you encourage yourself? Do you have a good relationship with you? Because the first relationship you're going to have is with yourself. The self-love, the self-acceptance, and then treating yourself gently and kindly, because that's what you want in a relationship. You want to treat someone to treat you well. But if you don't treat yourself well, how do you expect anyone else to treat you well? You have to treat yourself with respect. You have to treat yourself with love. You have to treat yourself with kindness. All of these things are essential to love. Just getting to the self-love first. I can't emphasize enough about self-love and self-acceptance and just getting to your happiness. That's the other part. It's like once you love yourself and you are comfortable with yourself, you can start to decide what makes you happy. Those things are really important. And when I see women downing themselves or not loving themselves or hating something about themselves, it really breaks my heart. I want women to really see how wonderful they are. So one of the things I want to challenge everyone to do, find something that you love about yourself. And just focus on that, especially if you've been really hard on yourself, if you've not been kind, not been gentle. Find something that you love about yourself and cultivate that. You know, let that grow. Move from one thing that you love about yourself into something else that you love about yourself. Just be gentle and be kind and grow in that. So if you're in those movements, having a hard time finding, love in a relationship, I want you to take a step back. Don't think about the men right now or women or whoever you're interested in. I want you to just focus on you. Find what you love about yourself first. So back to the femininity school stuff. There's so many. And I don't know where they came from. I don't know why they exist. I don't know why they're so popular. But I wanted to talk about not the schools, but femininity. Femininity, basically it's just having the quality or appearance traditionally or generally associated with women or with a woman or female. The thing that I'm noticing about these movements is that they're telling women what femininity is. Like it's just a box and you got to fit inside of the box. And what I really want people to understand is femininity. There's no one way to be feminine. It's just not. There's no one way to be feminine because generally a lot of women have long hair, but you're no less feminine with short hair. There's a general thing, the things we generally associate with women, yes, feminine, but that's not all we associate with women. And so when you have someone to tell you what feminine is, that's just, nobody can do that. So if you're a woman, you're feminine. That's it. How you choose to express your femininity, up to you. Nobody can tell you what feminine is. They're like, oh, she's showing her masculine quality. No, you're being yourself. You're being feminine. You're a woman. You're feminine. That's it. Nobody can tell you. As you traverse and learn your self-love, you decide what is feminine for you. You have to be yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to, get to a point where you understand, like, this is me, and I'm a woman, and I'm feminine, and this is how I choose to express my femininity. Nobody can tell you that. Nobody can teach you that. I don't care what anybody says. Feminine schools, maybe you like the way that they teach what femininity is, fine. But there is not one way to be feminine. Don't be fooled. Don't do it. Don't just accept what they say is feminine and anything outside of that, check boxes of things that they've selected isn't feminine. It's not true. You don't have to be, we're not supposed to be like somebody else. You're an individual. You're supposed to be you. You can't be, a cookie cutter of someone else. That doesn't make sense. That, if that were true, we would all be the same. We're all different for a reason. And learning to accept and love yourself as you are, as an individual, is extremely important. But the feminine thing, the schools are just, it's just crazy to me. But I want you, like, if you're in the school, let me just put it this way. If you're in one of these movements, there's some things that I've noticed that you should definitely, pay attention to. Okay, if you're in these movements, I'm not saying don't be in them. If they are helpful and useful and make you happy, then cool. It's just like I started a group. It's called Happy Women. If you come in and you enjoy it, cool. If you come in, you don't, you can leave. That's, what works for you is what works for you. But there's some things I would say to look for. So if you're in one of these movements and they say something that makes you feel bad about yourself, they tell you something is wrong with you, that's not a good place for you. You should probably leave it alone. It's important that whatever movement you're in is supporting and uplifting you. If it's not supporting and uplifting you, it's probably not good for you. If it's making you feel bad about yourself, it's making you doubt yourself, it's probably not good for you. So that's one. The other thing you should look out for in these groups, in these movements, is if they don't welcome other people's opinions. Like if they've got it so that if anybody disagrees with the leader, then they're absolutely disrespectful or wrong, or they get blocked. That's a big red flag. Anybody that's a true leader is going to welcome different perspectives, even if they are the opposite of what the leader is teaching. You should always be able to have a conversation. You should always be able to debate respectfully. And if somebody has a movement or a group or anything where they just don't want anyone with a different opinion to come in, or, for example, like Ro and her crew, Wife School, they don't even let anyone else comment on their pages. That's a big red flag. With the other one, with the boots and the leggings, I'm gonna get to you, Patricia. And yeah, following these movements have made it worse. That's why I'm telling you guys this. Like, one of the things is if they don't let anybody else who doesn't agree with them speak, they shut them down. They call them disrespectful. They tell them that they're masculine. Anything that doesn't make sense. Like I said, people disagree with me all the time. People come to my page and say all sorts of crazy things. As long as they stay respectful, we can disagree. Anybody that says that somebody disagrees with you is completely wrong. It's not a leader. They don't care about you. I want you to pay attention to how they treat other people. If they come into the movement and somebody says something different and they automatically just shut them down, that's not a good place to be. That person is not somebody you should follow. Patricia, you said you always had low self-esteem. And yeah, following these movements will make it worse. It absolutely will, because they are preying on people who have low self-esteem. Because the way our society is set up, unfortunately, it's set up to tell you that you're not enough. And they tell you you're not enough to sell you something. That's how it's always been. That's why makeup ads sell beauty. The truth is you can't buy beauty. You just can't. You're beautiful. Everybody's beautiful, but if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. Buying makeup is not going to make you more beautiful. You might like the makeup, but the belief that you could buy beauty is set up in our society. It's the way things, everything. If you don't have this house, you're unhappy. It's setting up, society is set up to make you believe that you're not enough. If you don't have this much money, you're not happy. It's not true. Happiness is something that you make a choice. It's a mind state. It's not about what you have, how much you own, what you put on your body, what kind of clothes you wear. You choose what makes you happy. And so all of these movements, and not just the movements, everything around you is set up to tell you you're not enough. And it's not true. It's just false. It's absolutely false. You are enough. And your happiness is inside. It's not something out there. You can't just go buy that car or, wear that jacket or have that partner. That's not going to make you happy. It just won't. None of those things will make you happy. It's the way the world is set up. The world has been set up to always make you believe that happiness is somewhere outside of you. It's not. It's in you. So these movements, one more thing, a couple more things about the movements to look out for. If you're going to join them, make sure that they're not making you feel bad about yourself. Make sure that they're allowing other people's opinions. It's important to have other people's opinions, people who disagree. If they're shutting down people who disagree, it's not a good place to be. Another thing you want to look out for. They're charging an excessive amount of money for something that's not a real product. One of the things at wife school, she was selling videos. Selling videos for what? And people were paying thousands of dollars for videos. You're not gaining anything. You know, you want to make sure you're gaining something. If you're going to spend the money, be very, very cautious about what product you're buying. So if you always, you know, be careful with your money. So if you buy something, make sure you get something out of it. If you're not getting anything out of it, it's probably not a good place to be. Probably not a good movement to be a part of. Just common sense. And the biggest thing about these movements is to pay attention to is don't let anybody sell you something that they can't produce themselves. One of the biggest issues I take with the chick that with the boots and the leggings is that she claims to teach women how to get married. She's not married. She claims to teach women how to attract a man. She has no boyfriend. These are things that you need to see produced. If she can't produce results based on the teaching she's providing you, you probably shouldn't follow her. You know, make sure you're following somebody that's producing what they say. If they can't produce it, they're probably selling you some nonsense. So you should just leave them alone. It's really, really important. I know it's funny, Freddie, but it is fun. It's serious. Like there's a bunch of frauds is what's happening, and it's unfortunate, but they're making money off of people, and I don't understand it, but I see it happening. And at the same time that they're making money off of people, they're damaging people. It hurts my heart to see the women that I've interacted with. I've interacted with quite a few women since the wife school thing, and I've interacted with, you know, since then it's like been an influx of people and talking to people and seeing how much damage these women have caused. And I know I've just scratched the surface. I know that there are more of these movements. I know that there's some male, you know, there's, thank you, Mac. No, Meredith, thank you. I know that there's some male teachers that are damaging. And I mean, just to be honest, if you are born without privilege, so privilege can come in a form of race. It can come as the type, you know, your sex or your gender. Privilege can come as your sexuality. You know, people don't realize that privilege comes in different ways. And if you're born without a certain privilege, you have more to overcome. And that's because the dominant society is not going to support you. So if you're born Black, dominant society is not going to support you. You have a lot more to overcome. If you're born female, dominant society is not going to support you. You have a lot more to overcome. If you're born gay, dominant society is not going to support you. You have a lot more to overcome. There's all these levels of privilege. It can go on and on. There's all these levels. So when you don't have certain privileges, you have to deal with fighting just to survive in a lot of ways. So a lot of the women in these movements are Black women. Black women, as a Black woman, I already know. It's a lot for us to deal with. But then you have somebody coming in and taking advantage of all the stuff you're already suffering through, and then stepping on you and telling you, well, if you want to get here, you have to be this way. You don't. You have to deal with people who think that way, but you don't have to change who you are to gain, to be happy, to go where you want to go. You know, it is really, self-determination is a huge part of success. Opportunity is also a huge part of success. A lot of very self-determined people don't get as many opportunities, especially if you're not born with privilege. That is something that's unbalanced in society, happens all the time. But it's something that when these groups, they take advantage of the fact that they already know you don't have privilege. And then they twist it to make you believe that if you, you know, change yourself, then you'll get this advantage. It's right here. Just purchase this and it's going to be right in front of you. It's not how it works. It's not how society works. It's unfortunate. I wish I could tell you it was different. It's not. You have to really understand what you're up against. You're up against a lot. And the women who I've been interacting with, I'm seeing some little peaks of changes, and I'm happy for you guys, because I can see that a lot of the ones that jump ship from the wife school, they're seeing that somebody took advantage of them, and I'm happy you're able to see that now. But as you move on, I want you to really focus on building yourselves up, because that's the next step. You have to build yourself from this trampoline that you've been dealing with for so long. And people deal with being stomped on for so many reasons. Black people in this country deal with being stomped on, and the conversations that pit Black men against Black women drive me nuts, because racism is just steady for Black men and women. It's not something that Black women experience, or Black men experience more than Black women. Black women experience racism too. So don't you have to change a little to get ahead? Change in what way? Like filter that out for me, because you do have to know who you are, and everyone changes. That's something we all change. As the more we know, the more we grow, we change. Yeah, you got it. You guys in the comments got it. But yeah, you do change, but you want to change for the better, but not change to conform. I think that's the difference. You want to change to better yourself. You don't want to change to conform to someone's idea of who you should be, because the only one who can determine who you should be is you. So if somebody's telling you how to be you and you conform to that, you won't be happy. You won't grow. Now, you're going to grow and change because the more you learn, the more you read, the more you experience, those things are going to change you naturally. Just traveling will change you. A lot of people don't travel, but traveling will change you. It changes your perspective. Interacting with people you don't know will change you, because you're interacting, you're having a different experience. All of those things are essential to personal growth. And so I really want people to really think about who they're dealing with in these schools and how they're beneficial. So definitely, if you're in one of these schools and the person who's the leader can't produce the results from their techniques that they're telling you, then you probably shouldn't follow. So let's get into the love talk. I said I wanted to talk about love today. I say in my book, love is selfless. We talked about self-love, because love is selfless. If you love yourself just because. You're not loving yourself because you can get something from yourself. You are loving yourself because you love yourself. That's it. No expectations. It's selfless. It's just, that's it. Same thing applies to loving someone else. Our idea of romantic relationships is not love. What we see on television, fairy tales, books, we are seeing an idea of love that's mostly about possession. That's why people get jealous and people feel like somebody owes them something, and people do things. They are not doing it in a selfless way. They expect, if I love you, you're supposed to love me back. Well, that's not real love. That's, I'm expecting you to treat me a certain way because I did something for you. But love in the truest sense is selfless. And I talk about this in my book because I know a lot of people, we're in a society that teaches us the wrong things about love. It just is what it is. We're fighting what real love is to we're having these expectations of what love is because we've seen this idea of love for so long, for so many people, from so many places, TV, movies, books. We think that, we're supposed to be in love and this person's supposed to do all these things for you. That's not love. When you love somebody, you don't expect anything from them. And I want to be clear that I'm talking about love. I'm not talking about a relationship right now. Just talking about love. I know people who are in marriages and their expectations in marriages and in relationships. That's a different thing. I want you to just come out of relationship and just get to, do you love someone? And the question is, if the person stopped doing anything for you, would you still love them? Because that's selflessness. Like, if you have no expectations of that person, most people, you only notice this love with your children. If you have children, you don't expect anything from your children for you. You don't expect your children to do anything for you because they're your children. You love them. It's the same thing if you're loving someone else. If you didn't get anything from that person ever at all, do you still love them? That is the real sense of love. And it's different from the idea of romantic love. And I think that a lot of people have a hard time with that. That's why I wrote a whole chapter. I think I wrote a whole chapter about love in my book. Because most of the time when people are like, oh, I want somebody, I want to be loved, they don't really know what they're speaking about. They want somebody they can possess. I want you to be my love, and I want you to be with me, and I want you to do these things for me, and I want to do this with you. That's nice. It is nice, but it's not love. And you have to change your perception about what love truly is. Because when you know what love truly is, it changes how you go about even just living, just dealing with people you interact with. If you're single, it changes how you interact with people who you're dating. It changes a lot. It changes your perception and your expectations from others, especially when you don't expect anything. When you were just kind of open, especially when first you got to love yourself, and when you're open to love others without any expectations, it changes how you love. It changes everything, actually. It changes your whole perception. So first you have this self-love. Learn to love yourself. And you have no expectations of yourself. And then when you love yourself, you know what love is. You have that selflessness. Then you are free to love someone else. And I think many people just have a very hard time with love and wanting to be in love and wanting to have a relationship in love because they don't understand what love is. You have to get that love is a selfless act. It means you have absolutely no expectation on the person you love. You don't expect them to do anything for you. You don't expect them to hug you or kiss you or take you anywhere. That's not love. When you can look at that person and say, I love you and I don't expect anything from you. I just love you. That's it. I love you. I don't have any expectation. That's a real sense of love. That's a real true sense of the word love. When you get to that point, you can even love somebody who is not good for you and let them go. I think a lot of people do have selfless love for someone, but that person is hurting them constantly. But they don't know how to let go. You can absolutely love someone who is not good for you and not be in a relationship with them. A lot of people have a hard time getting out of relationships because they do love the person and they love them in a selfless way, but this person is not healthy for them. I also talk about that in my book. Like, you have to be able to let go for those who are not good for you. So learning that, one, if somebody is selflessly loving you, they're not hurting you. Love should never hurt. A lot of people think that they're being in pain as being in love. It's not. Love is a selfless act. So if you're in pain, that's not love. You're in confusion. You're not happy. You're in a lot of things, but you're not in love. A lot of people love someone that it's just terrible for them. I've been through that. loved somebody who was bad for me, terrible for me, chipped away at my self-esteem, all of that. Finally figured it out. I love this person and this person doesn't love me. Not in the real sense of love. Letting that person go is hard. It's hard to let go because we are so used to the idea of romantic love and sticking it out and hanging in there, but it's not healthy for us. You can't be happy when somebody's constantly causing you pain. You can't grow when you're in a situation where you're constantly in pain. You have to be able to let go of the things that are harmful to you. And I know a lot of people think about, they romanticize marriages in the past, like, you know, our grandparents stayed together for 50 years. A lot has changed in 50 years, especially when it comes to income for women and the ability to support oneself. A lot of grandparents stayed together because they didn't have a choice. They might have had a terrible relationship, but they stuck it out because they had to survive. Right now, a lot of people are not in that position. A lot of people are in much better financial positions. They can support themselves, especially women. A lot of women, back in the day, women weren't allowed to work, couldn't find jobs, or if they found jobs, they didn't pay enough because of the pay gap for women to support themselves. So we have this idea that the marriages were better back then, but they weren't. The relationships were not better. It's just that they didn't have a choice but to stay together. So now we're in a different era. We're moving forward where people are choosing to live lives based on their own happiness, based on growth and support and real love. But even still, we have this idea of sticking it out with somebody that's unhealthy for us. Don't do that. When you love yourself and you understand what love is, you are able to let go of anything, person, Facebook group, some school that's not healthy for you. So first, that's the mastery of your self-love, and then learning what love is for another person or whatever. When you see that that person doesn't love you, or that group, or that people are not really looking out for your best interest, you change. You change how you approach life, and you change what you're looking for in life. It's something that I learned over the years. I wish I had learned it when I was much younger. I wish somebody had taught this to me. But learning that love is selfless is one of the biggest things, the most important things I've ever learned. That when somebody truly loves you, they don't expect something from you for them. They just love you. And the same goes for you. If you love somebody, you're not going to expect them to do something for you. You're just going to love them. And when you have that real love, that, you know, fully encompassing happiness, love, it changes the whole relationship. It changes how you feel about one another. It changes how you grow together. It changes a lot. So I really want people to understand what love really is. So hopefully this was a fun talk. Been talking for a while now. I'll probably do this again. I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you're a woman and you're on Facebook, of course we're on Facebook, you want to join my Happy Women group, please just search out. I have a link on my page. Come and join us. We're having fun over there. It's fun. I'm so far, I'm glad I went ahead and started. So join Happy Women. If you have a YouTube account, please become one of my subscribers. Just go to Date Like a Woman YouTube. If you're on Twitter, follow me, Nicole. If you are on Instagram, follow me, KaiFlyMommy. Let me see, what else? Hey, Reggie, I didn't even know you were there. Thank you. Let's see, what else? There's a whole bunch of stuff. I think I'll say, let's see. Yeah, follow me. Check out my blog. I need to write some more, but I've been so busy. And then I'm doing videos with you guys. I'll be posting this video if you want somebody else to see it on YouTube, probably tonight. And I'll do this again. I'm going to try to do this a little bit more frequently, a little bit more regularly. If you have questions you want me to talk about in one of my live chats, send them to me. And if you haven't gotten my book yet, please get it. DateLikeAWoman.com. Pick it up. It's very helpful. I'm hearing from men that they like it too. I did write it for women, but men like it too. So pick it up, and always write me a review when you're done. And I guess that is it. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later.